What's up, everyone? Eddie Mercado here with BloodyElbow.com, and I'm about to speak with UFC welterweight prospect Colby Covington as he is headed to UFC on Fox 22 on December 17th to take on Bryan Barberena. So let's give Colby a call and find out what his thoughts are on his UFC 202 performance, find out what he's been up to as of late, and find out what we can expect from him in Sacramento.
What up, Eddie?
Colby Covington, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Got to do a bunch of Colby Covington research, so that was a lot of submission victories and a lot of dominance. So I'm a happy camper. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just got a nice little strength and conditioning workout in, so I'm feeling good.
Okay, awesome. Well, last time we spoke, you told me that your loss to Warley Alves lit a fire under you. And here you are, 2 finishes later. What have you been up to, man? How you feeling?
Dude, I feel good, man. That loss was the best thing to happen to me, all excuses aside, whether I was injured or not going into the fight with a fractured rib, it was the best thing that could have ever happened, it really made me get out of my comfort zone and work on the things I know I needed to work on, and now I'm a complete fighter, I'm not just a wrestler no more, and everybody's going to see that on December 17th.
Okay, now you've moved to 10-1. You are coming off a 3rd round TKO of Max Griffin at UFC 202. Huge win on an epic card. Now, what was the energy like in the arena that night?
Oh, man, the energy was insane. Everybody was pumped up. It was one of the biggest cards in the history of the UFC, so a lot of people were hyped up. You could hear the buzzing when you're walking in the stadium, and it was just a great atmosphere, and it's just, it was a dream come true to be able to fight on that card, and I'm going to be forever grateful, and that experience is going to serve me well going forward.
Yeah, of course, the main event was Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 2. Another epic fight. I mean, it's definitely going to go down in the record books as one of the better cards of all time for sure. Now, Your performance in particular was pretty stellar. Like I said, you fought Max Griffin, and you were pretty much dominant throughout before getting the TKO finish. Did anything surprise you about Max in that fight?
No, nothing really surprised me. I know what type of fighter he was going in, and I feel like I'm a very dominant fighter. I've never lost a round in my career besides the 1 round to Warley where he caught me in a fluke submission. So besides that, that's what I do is I dominate and I break guys' wills. And when they come to fight me, they know they're going to be in for a fight, and it's going to be a test of wills. And, there wasn't really anything that Max has surprised me with because I've trained with, the best fighters in the world, the American Top Team. And, I've seen it all. So there's nothing that anybody's going to present me with that I haven't seen before.
Okay, now, did you learn anything? I mean, it was a pretty dominant performance, and people always say they learn more from their losses than they do their wins. Was there anything you learned in that performance?
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of things that I learned. I feel like I could have probably finished him a little bit sooner, and some of the positions that I was in that I could have got to, I could have made it a little bit more violent. I've been a little bit more dominant in those positions, but, it's all about just managing those nerves and just, really being in the moment, and that's what I really kind of felt in that fight. I kind of wasn't in the moment as much as I could have been or I have been in the past, and it's something that I've definitely been working on, and it's all coming together now.
Okay, and that kind of answers my next question. I was going to ask, do you think you could have maybe gotten the finish a little bit sooner than you did? And obviously you do.
Oh, 100%, absolutely. I should have been able to finish him at the end of the 1st round or in the beginning of the 2nd. I shouldn't have dragged it into the 3rd. I definitely should have had him out of there sooner, but, it's something I've learned, and it's a lesson learned, and I've worked on it, and you're going to see something different in this fight.
Okay, now what'd you think of the main event? Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz 2.
That was a great main event. Probably one of the best fights I've ever seen live, just a complete war, a testament to both their wills, a testament to just persevering. And, you thought one guy had the edge and then the other guy had the edge, and then it was going back and forth, man. That was such a fun fight to watch. I'm just incredibly blessed to be there.
Did you actually get to go out and watch it, or did you watch from the back?
I watched a little bit out from, the curtains, but then I went to the back because the gate people were like, oh, you got to go back to the back. So they made us watch from the back.
Okay, yeah, Connor's crazy, man. Did you catch his Eddie Alvarez fight? Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. That's
That was,
crazy, man. He's doing big things in the sport, and he's leading the way for every fighter what they want to do. And if you want something, then you got to go get it, and that's what he's doing.
yeah, absolutely. And UFC 205 was huge in and of itself. Welterweight title was on the line. Tyron Woodley took on Stephen Thompson. Went to a draw of all things. What'd you think of that fight?
I thought Woodley took that, but judges, when you leave it in the judges' hands, I mean, credit to Stephen Thompson. He weathered the storm. I mean, what a tough dude, man. To be able to get dropped like that and come back, that was crazy. But that was a great fight. I thought Woodley had it, but that's what happens when it goes to the judges. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, do you think they should do it again?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think they should do it again. It was a great fight. The fans loved it. Everybody loved it. That everybody wants to see that again. So I think that makes sense.
Okay, so right now you are headed to Sacramento for UFC on Fox 22. Now, I saw you on social media kind of lobbying to get on this card. What was the reasoning behind that?
I was actually born in Sacramento, in Rockland, which is a suburb of Sacramento. So, I lived there for the first 8 years of my life, and that's special to me. That's like I have a piece of my heart there. So, there's a lot of history there. My sister was a Sacramento Kings cheerleader for like 7 years. So,
oh wow,
I got a lot of history over in Sacramento, and the guys at Team Alpha Male, they're my friends. I have a lot of respect for those guys, and I'm my home is Oregon, and this gives all my people, my fans at home, and all my friends that I went to high school with the opportunity to come watch me fight, because I've been fighting in China, Brazil, Vegas. I guess they could come, but Sacramento is only like a 6-hour drive, so I'm gonna have a couple hundred people driving down to watch that. So,
oh wow,
I'm proud. I'm really excited about this to represent for the West Coast, and I can't wait to get back there.
Awesome. Do you think there's going to be maybe any added pressure with knowing that everyone is coming to watch?
No, I don't feel like there is any added pressure in this sport. There's already enough pressure as it is to win and perform, to get that win bonus and keep moving up the ladder. So, and if there is pressure, that's good. That's what I want. The more pressure is what I want. I want so much pressure to be like I'm in that title fight situation, because I know I'm going to be fighting for that title in the near future. So I might as well add that pressure. I'll probably put, like $10,000 on myself for the fight too, to put more pressure. I like the pressure. I want to feel the pressure, and I'm going to thrive under the pressure.
Okay. They say pressure busts pipes, but it also makes diamonds. So, it's all in how you use it, right?
Exactly.
Now, on your plate, Bryan Barberena. This guy, I mean, he's been the underdog king, so to speak. He's coming off back-to-back wins since he got into the welterweight division. Huge underdog in both of those. Ended up coming out on top, of course. He choked out Sage Northcutt with an arm triangle from half guard. And then he faced a mutual opponent in Warley Alves, won a decision. But I'm not sure he had a fractured rib going into that. What are your thoughts on the guy?
He's a resilient fighter. I got respect for the guy. He's earned the respect. He's a tough guy. But, it's nothing that I haven't ever seen. I see guys like him in the gym every day. So, for me, it's just exciting because it's a revenge fight. People are going to see the true me. They're going to see the reasoning behind my loss to Warley. He decisively beat Warley. It wasn't really competitive. He won that fight pretty decisively. So this is my fight to show my revenge and show that, that was a fluke against Warley. And it was, and I plan on coming out like you never seen me before. I expect to finish, and it's going to be dominating. People are going to know the reason behind my loss, and they're going to know what's in store for the future.
Okay, now, do you think maybe he's a particular threat in a specific area at all? Or do you think you kind of have him beat in all aspects?
To be honest, I think I'm better than him everywhere. He's a good fighter in a lot of areas, but he's not really great anywhere. I feel like I'm a great wrestler. I feel like my striking has evolved a lot, and I'm a great striker now. I've been sparring with Robbie Lawler. That's been my main partner this camp. And, what's Bryan Barberena going to bring to the table that Robbie Lawler doesn't, So, I'm prepared for anywhere the fight goes. I think I'm going to beat him everywhere, and I'm going to show. I got some surprises up my sleeve, so you definitely want to tune in December 17th.
Okay, what's it like sparring with Robbie Lawler?
Oh man, it's so awesome, man. Sometimes it doesn't feel real when I'm going through. Like everybody in the gym will come watch, and everybody wants to see because he's the Robbie Lawler, and it's just so humbling. I'm just so grateful to have a training partner like that. Who, he doesn't have a fight coming up. He doesn't need to come in and help me, but the fact that he wants to come in and help me, that just I have so much respect for that guy, and he's a legend in the sport. He's done some great things in MMA, and just to get a little bit of his knowledge. And after we're done sparring, he'll give me pointers here and there on the stand-up and this and that. So, Robbie's such a great guy, and I just got the utmost respect for him.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. He's definitely one of my all-time favorite fighters. Now,
Yeah.
how's ATT going down there in South Florida? I see you on Snapchat. You're always hanging out with Jorge Masvidal, who's another one of my all-time favorite fighters. I mean, what's this training camp like?
Oh, this training camp's great. I have a really close and tight knit circle. Jorge Masvidal is my best friend. I got Robbie Lawler, and I got a lot of great 70-pounders around me to help me, and I just have a tight circle, and it's just it's good. I don't open up myself to too many of the guys at ATT, but I keep my tight circle, and my circle works really well for me. So I'm thankful for ATT, what they've done for me. Dan Lambert, the owner of ATT, man, I wouldn't be where I'm at today without him. He gave me a place to live. He gave me food money to get on this journey, and he's just done so much. And he's an integral part of ATT, and I'm so thankful for American Top Team.
Okay, when did you first meet Masvidal? Did you meet him at ATT?
Yeah, right after college in 2011, after I got done and graduated Oregon State, I came out to ATT on a 1-week training camp, and the first day I trained with Jorge Masvidal in wrestling, and we just clicked right away. He's like, oh man, I want to show you striking. I'm going to show you this, and I just helped him in wrestling, and we built this bond and mesh, and it's been a great relationship. He helps me out with a lot of things striking, and I help him out with a lot of things grappling and wrestling. So we kind of take pieces from each other's games, and we mold each other so we can be the most well-rounded fighters in the division.
Okay, and it seems like an awesome fit. I mean, you come from two very different backgrounds, and you kind of each want what the other has, so to speak. So I think that's badass, man. I think that's pretty cool. Now,
Yeah,
I know you don't like to do predictions, but I gotta ask, how's this fight gonna end, man?
I 100% I know I'm going to finish him. I don't see him making it 3 rounds, but I think I'm going to knock him out in the second round.
Okay, second round knockout on the feet?
Yeah, I think so, on the feet, man. I mean, maybe on the feet, maybe on the ground. I can't tell you that much because then he's going to be watching this and he's going to think that, he's going to be coming in doing this game plan. I don't know. If he wants, I'll take the fight where it goes, but I definitely don't see him making it 3 rounds.
Okay. Now, with a win, where do you feel like that places you in the welterweight division?
I feel like it places me in the top 15. Kelvin Gastelum, he's got the weight issue, so he's out, so now they got to put a new guy in. I feel like that should be me, I feel like I'm ready for my time. This is my time. I've put in a lot of hard work in the stand-up and the grappling for the submissions, and I'm a finisher, Look at all my fights. I've finished 90% of my fights, so, I'm ready to make my run to that title, and I'm ready for that title, so they need to put me in that ranking and start giving me some highly ranked guys because I'm going to start putting them down soon.
Well, as we've seen Conor McGregor do, sometimes you have to talk your way into a fight. Are you prepared to get on the mic after a dominant win and kind of, ask for what you feel like you deserve?
That's exactly what I'm going to do. I got a good little catch line that I got coming on the mic, so they better be prepared for it because I'm coming for it.
Okay, and last time we spoke, I remember you were talking about how you've actually trained with Woodley in the past, and you think that would actually be a favorable matchup for you.
Yeah, I still think that's a favorable matchup. I could take him to deep waters, but I like Tyron Woodley. He's a cool guy. I can't bad talk him right now. He's the champ. He's earned his right to be the champ. I'm not gonna be that kid down on the line that's just running his mouth. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna prove it. So. No disrespect to Tyron Woodley. He's a cool guy, but, I'm coming for that belt. No one's going to stop me right now. I can tell you that.
Okay. You got a message for the UFC welterweight division?
For sure. You guys better watch out. I'm the most well-rounded welterweight in the world right now. You can try and stop me, but it's going to end very bad for you.
Okay, awesome. Now, you got any sponsors or people you want to give a special thank you to?
Yeah, I want to give a special thank you to My Lee. It's a Vietnamese food restaurant in St. Louis, Missouri. They're a sponsor of Tyron Woodley, too. Just a lot of respect, and they're my biggest sponsor. I just have so much love for them, and I just appreciate them sponsoring me. And then also Own It, get Own It. They, their supplements are top notch, world class supplements, and they really helped me take my game to the next level. So thank you to Miley and Own It.
Okay, awesome. Now, how can people follow you on your journey? What are your Twitter handles, Instagrams, Facebooks?
Yeah, follow me on my journey to this world championship. You trust me, get on the bandwagon now, because you're not going to want to miss out later. You're not going to be able to join later when I'm champ. So look me up on Twitter and Instagram at Colby Cov MMA, and on Facebook, Colby Covington.
Awesome. Well, Colby Covington, thank you so much for taking out the time. You are facing Bryan Barberena, UFC on Fox 22, your birthplace of Sacramento. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Eddie. Much respect, brother.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
So there you have it. UFC welterweight Colby Covington set to head to his birthplace of Sacramento, California to take on Bryan Barberena at UFC on Fox 22 on December 17th. Go check that out. And in the meantime, you can read me over at bloodyelbow.com. Follow me on Twitter at @TheEddieMercado. And go be a good person.